So, what are some of the reasons people want to reduce their accents?
Usually there's two categories. One is for pronunciation and clarity because they're not being understood, right? The other side of the coin that I've seen, a lot of people who come to the Bay Area feel to some degree that their accent keeps them from establishing rapport with their colleagues or their teams. Those are usually the people that are higher up in a company for whatever reason.
So, for people who are at an upper level of a company, does accent reduction really matter?
If they are having pronunciation issues, even just occasionally, it does for sure. If it's more of a rapport thing or how they want to be perceived, it matters if it gives them confidence. It matters if it's what they want, then yes.
How many sessions does it usually take to reduce one's accent?
It depends on the individual. I would say that the average client sees me from 12 to 16 sessions, but it depends on the individual and their goals. If somebody just wants to clear up a few things, then less time. If somebody wants to eliminate their accent altogether, then it's going to take a lot longer.
What's the most difficult aspect of accent reduction?
I think it's when people hold themselves back. So for instance, if you're used to speaking a language where you don't open your mouth very much and your teeth are pretty tight, and English requires you to open your mouth much more, to use your lips more, and it's much more forward sound, it feels uncomfortable to some people. And it feels as though they're being pushed out of their comfort zone more than they want to be. And so that can kind of slow down the process if somebody's not willing to trust that.
So, it sounds like you work a lot with actually getting people used to using muscles in their mouths that they haven't used before. Is that right?
Absolutely, especially with the lips and the tongue tip.
What problems does having an accent create for people?
If the accent is strong enough that you're not being understood, that can be a problem because you're trying to communicate. And if you're trying to communicate in the business world, you want people to understand you so that they're not tuning out and not listening and then moving on to the next person. The area that I find this the most tricky is in the startup world. There's lots of startups out there where the people who are leading these companies, looking for VCs, looking for funding, have accents that are so thick that they're not being understood and they're being turned down. I find this baffling when I come across these people, just socially, and I wonder, well, why aren't you doing something about it? This is such an important part of you growing your business, starting the business, is being able to speak to people.
So, is there any advice you can give for reducing one's accent?
Yeah, if you're seeking to reduce your accent, start doing some research on the internet, buy an accent reduction book that you like, find a coach, and find a coach with a pedagogical degree or a teaching degree of some sort that has to do with language or accents, And then don't be afraid to go out of your comfort zone. Really try to work the muscles, really try to exaggerate.